Hello guys, welcome to this YouTube channel. Today I'll be talking about microscope. I'll be talking about the principle, the components, the types, and also maintenance of microscope. The word microscope comes from the fusion of two Greek words which are micro and scopy. Micro means small and scopy means to see. Microscope is used by scientists and healthcare. It is an instrument that uses lenses to produce highly magnified images of small specimens or objects, especially when they are too small to be seen with the naked eyes. Scientists and healthcare professionals use it for many purposes, including diagnosis of infectious disease, identification of microorganisms in water and the environment, and determination of the effects of pathogenic microbes on human cells. Basically, the microscope, what it does, it magnifies the view of something. Anything that is on its point of focus, it magnifies it. It has two lenses that work together to create an enlarged image of a specimen placed under the objective lens, because it is the one closest to the objective. Conversely, the lens closest to the eye is called the oculus. Microscope enlarges the view of an object by enlarging it twice using the objective and oculus lens. It happens in the following way. Light from below a specimen illuminates it. An objective lens placed very close to the specimen produces a real image of the specimen. This image is created somewhere between the two lenses. This image is created far away behind the actual image. Then the final image is now inverted to the original object. Remember that the light passes through the specimen and the two lenses to reach your eye. In the process, the loss of light can be negligible. The components of a microscope are the eyepiece, which contains the lens, and it may have a magnifying power of 10 times or 15 times or 40 times or 100 times. There is the nose piece. The nose piece contains objective lenses and can easily rotate to change magnification. There is the objective lens. There is the grip, the stage, the diaphragm, and the base. There's also the light source, and there is the arm. I've mentioned the light source, which provides the light. So now let's go on the types of microscope. There are basically 4 types of microscope. There is simple microscope, compound microscope, electron microscope, and stereo microscope. But the two microscopes that are used mostly are the compound microscope and the electron microscope. A simple microscope is a magnifying glass that has double convex lens with short focal length. This type of microscope is basically used in labs, in schools, to see small objects and all that. Now, the compound microscope uses multiple sets of lenses. This microscope has a higher magnifying power. It can magnify up to 4 times, 10 times, and 100 times. And this microscope uses light. Sometimes it is called a light microscope. Now let's move to electron microscope. Electron microscope is totally different from that of the simple microscope and the compound microscope. Reason that the electron microscope uses beam of electrons instead of light. This type of microscope has a very high magnifying power, up to like 500,000 to 1 million times magnifying power. These microscope, they are basically used in research. They are used to view atoms. They are used to view molecules, very small objects that can't be seen even with a compound microscope. The stereo microscope is just like the compound microscope, just that this stereo microscope, it provides a three-dimensional view of the objects. It is also known as the dissecting microscope. It is called so because it has two different light paths, one for the left eye and one for the right eye. These two different light paths now create a three-dimensional objects for the eye. Because this stereo microscope provides three-dimensional view of the objects, it is mostly used to examine thick or solid objects. The maintenance and repairs of a microscope. There are three basic maintenance we can do for the microscope. One is the preventive maintenance, the second is the corrective maintenance, and the third is reactive maintenance. The preventive maintenance, which is the first, is performed on the microscope periodically following a preset schedule to avoid breakdown. This preventive maintenance is the most important of all of the maintenance. The importance to maintain a microscope in good operating condition and to prevent or correct issues before failure arises. Preventive maintenance can be inspection, lubrication, alignment, and component replacement of the microscope. The next is corrective maintenance. This is done when an issue is detected. Corrective maintenance include troubleshooting, adjustments, replacements of parts, and the realignment of the microscope. This type of maintenance might come up due to detection of an issue during preventive maintenance or during other planned work. Reactive maintenance. This occurs when there is a total breakdown of the microscope or failure appears. But the most important type of maintenance is the preventive maintenance. If the preventive maintenance is done in the schedule, then it will be very difficult for them to have a reactive maintenance. That is when there is total breakdown of the microscope or when a failure appears. There is a chart for preventive maintenance by World Health Organization. This chart gives an highlight of what needs to be done every day, monthly, or weekly. Once this is followed judiciously, then it will be very difficult for there to be any breakdown of any microscope. So in conclusion, it is very important to do preventive maintenance on microscope. This includes checking alignments, adjustments, and focus. Lubricate it according to the manufacturer's instructions. Clean and check the mechanical parts. I think that will be all for today. Thank you, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos on engineering. Thank you.